Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Nupehadda. Today I am doing a card review of a card that's been requested by Toby Time. Now, there's not much information I can give you about the person who requested this, but he asked me to review a card that's going to be coming out in the next two sets. Mostly this card is known as Tierra, Goddess of Rebirth. Tierra, Goddess of Rebirth is a fiend-type monster, level 11. 3,400 attack, 3,600 defense. And she goes according to this. Cannot be normal summon or set. Must be special summon from the hand by shuffling 10 cards with different names from your hand and or field into the main deck and or extra deck, and cannot be special summoned by any other ways. This card's summoning cannot be negated. If this card is special summon or shuffle all other cards in both players' hands, field, and in graveyard, and any face-up pendulum monsters that are in both players' extra decks back into the decks respectively. The activation of this effect cannot be negated nor activated towards. So the thing of it is this card good? It's good in terms of the effect and the attack power and everything like that as a mid to late game. I'm sorry, I can't talk right now for some reason. In terms of beginning of the game, no. The reason for this is because it's a level 11 monster, which means it requires you to have at least 10 different cards with different names. Doesn't have to be monsters by themselves. It can be monsters, magic, traps, pendulum monsters, you name it. They just have to be on the field and or hand. Shuffle back into the deck. Now, if this was also graveyard, then this would be stupid. This would be stupidly good because the majority of decks nowadays can do this. But because it's from field and hand, it's going to be a lot harder to get out. However, I will point this out. This is a lot easier to summon than Sophia. And I'm talking about the Goddess of Rebirth. I think it's who it's supposed to be. But from what I've seen in terms of what I've been looking at, in terms of what the different tips and everything like that, it's not a bad card. It just has a very high special summon requirement. Although not as bad as most cards at this level. Suffice to say, it's a very good card. Especially during mid or late game, it could be pretty much a game ender. Because at that point, no one is going to be able to do anything by the time you summon this SOB. So, that's pretty much all I can really say about it. Because what this does is it's pretty much a reset. It sends all other cards from everywhere except from the banish pile, even the pendulum monsters that are face up in the extra decks, back to the decks where they belong. So another means this is probably one of the most powerful game-changing cards we've had in a while. The last game-changing cards that I can ever recall that is nostalgia for me would have to be the Chaos Emerald Dragon's original effect. Blackluster Soldier, Envoy at the beginning, was a very devastating card at its day. However, Chaos Emerald Dragon, Envoy at the end, was the most devastating monster we had back then. And this could be the next most devastating monster. It's not hard to get 10 cards onto the field and or hand, depending on the deck. There's a lot of decks that does this. But getting 10 cards in field and hand with different names, that's a bit more tricky. Still, it's a lot easier to do this than with Sophia, the Goddess of Rebirth, because Sophia has a hefty cost. But if anything, at the end of the day, if you're able to do this, being able to summon Tierra onto the field during mid to late game, then it'll win it for you. And that's all I really got to say about this. So, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, and have a good night.